Luke chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. I'm going to give you 8 stages of how God pushes his power. I use the word push, but he basically brings the power of God to bear through you and I. Step number 1 is the warm-up stage. In verse 1 it says here, the multitude pressed in all around him. I love that word press. It's the same word, when you see the word press, if you study the woman with the issue of blood, when she saw that Jesus was surrounded by people, it says she came in the press. That's the King James Version. She came in the pressure of life. She came in the struggle of the moment. She forced her way through. She worked her way in close enough to get to Jesus. And I just see this first step of the warm-up stage as Jesus positions us to be used by him. Lots of times you're going to find you're under pressure, you're under the gun, there's something at work you don't like, there's a group of people that are really difficult for you to get along with, there's some issue that is hurting you, offending you. I remember when I was in Bible school, I worked at a place where there was only one break room. There's no heat in the place, and we're in northern New York here. There was no heat in the place. It would oftentimes in the wintertime be 0 or below, and it was a granary, and so I was working it's just a granary. It's uninsulated, it's not heated, it's just a barn basically with the grain bins in it, and it was freezing bitter cold. It was dirty, it was dusty, it was a tough job, and there was one little area, it was a break room that had heat in it. And, you could go in there, drink coffee or whatever, get warmed up. But the break room was absolutely plastered with pornography. It was everywhere. Walls, ceiling, pin-up girls, you name it. It was all over the walls. And I found it just to be really offensive. And so, I just made it a habit not to go in the break room. When I wanted to take a break, I took a break out there where out where the machines were, and it was freezing cold. I drank, coffee sitting out there or whatever. And occasionally I would go in because I'm trying to reach out to the guys that work there. But listen, it was a tough situation. I was in the pressure, but you know what I realized? As I began inviting these guys to church, and sometimes they would come to church, I realized, who is going to get these guys? Sometimes the pressure that you're under, the struggle you're under, is the perfect positioning of the Lord for the moment so you can do the job that God has set before you. So, just brace yourself. This is the warm-up stage is, you may find yourself in some uncomfortable situation. God may use that as the stepping off point to reach out to some people that might not otherwise get a shot at hearing the gospel. So the first step is the warm-up stage, and we're all going to have that stage in our life. The second step that I saw here was the work stage. Jesus said to Peter, push out a little bit. I like the progression here because it's almost as if God is ambushing Peter. First he says in verse 3, push out a little. Then in verse 4, he says, launch out into the deep. And if you look over in Matthew 14, this is when Jesus comes walking out to the boat, walking on the water, and Peter's pretty frightened by that. And he says, Lord, if it's really you, bid me to come to you. And Jesus says to him, step out of the boat. So you've got this progression. Launch out a little. It's almost like, it's no big deal. Just push out a little bit. And then he says, launch out into the deep. It's deep. It's dangerous. Who knows what could happen. And then finally he says, step out. So push out, launch out, step out. And I just want to say this. When God is at work in your life, every step that he takes, every move that he's bringing you to is going to take a little bit more from you. Push out a little, launch out a little, step out a little. Every step takes a little more obedience, takes a little more faith, a little more trust in him. It's not quite as easy as it was the last time. And it's going to put a drain on you. The work stage is called the work stage because it is work. And I don't know why, but some of us have gotten the idea that the gospel is just going to come to us, wash over us, fill us, envelop us, and then that's going to be it. That, the real work is done by God, and if he wants it done, he can just get it done himself. But I got news for us, folks. That's not the way it's written down. Once he saves us, and once he's redeemed us, and he's empowered us with the Holy Ghost and the things of God, He's not looking for us to sit around and twiddle our thumbs and wait. He's looking for us to get to work and get out there into that harvest field and see that harvest come in. So I'm going to stop right here for now. I've got several more aspects to this I'd like to share, but I'll bring that another time. I'd just like to say God bless you, and it's always good to be together for our Manna time midweek. So God bless you. Have a great week. Make sure you go to church this week and share the love of Jesus with somebody. Can you do that? We'll see you later. Bye now.